Hello, my name is Andrew Salucci. This is CST 100 and this is Speech for Persuasive Speech. Today I'm going to be talking about people that are being discriminated against in the workforce due to background searches and criminal records or charges that don't reflect their character. I do believe the justice system has a major problem with itself, but that's not the discussion I'm having with you all today. It is the discrimination and unethical behavior that leaves many in poverty or wandering looking for careers that they are easily qualified for, but employers discriminate them due to background searches. There's going to be three main points that I'm talking about here today as to why this is a major issue and we need to have change and reform. Um, First, are overqualified people with the records. Second, the failure to give people second chances. And third, the history of people that have prevailed in entrepreneurships with records. So going to my first main point, there are definitely many overqualified people with criminal records. As you can see here on the graph to the left, this just shows you the population of people with criminal records, which can kind of give you an explanation of how there could be a lot of people in almost every one of this part of the graph that has a criminal record. As you can see, persons with arrest records is almost the same as persons with bachelor degrees. I mean, this is in the United States, this graph, and you know, this just tells you right now there's definitely a lot of people out there with college degrees that have criminal records and they still can't get a job. I know some people that have criminal records and they can't get a job because of a misdemeanor or something that happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 1 year ago, but they've been rehabilitated successfully in a prison or a jail, or they didn't serve time or they're on probation and they're still being discriminated against. Ban the Box is actually a legislative reform bill that was passed in about 7 states currently. I think one of them is California. I believe the reason why for California is because the passing of medical and medicinal and recreational marijuana was passed. Well, it's been passed for a while there. Obviously, everyone knows pretty much about that. But basically, what it does is it takes off that check mark box, kind of like this picture right here. Have you ever been convicted? That box right there, that anyone that's ever filled out an application has seen. It's just a little box, but that could determine the entire application right there. If you know an employer could read through your entire application and the college that you've attended and all of your qualifications. The second they see that check, they just could rip up your paper and throw it away. I mean, it happens like that in a lot of cases, especially in office scenarios or even executive jobs. Even if you're getting promoted, they could eventually do a background check and see that you have a record, and it's not good because people have been rehabilitated successfully. So this is a program that has been passed in 7 states. I believe the last state it was recently, they tried to pass it in was Delaware, but I think they didn't pass it because of, I'm not exactly sure why, but it wasn't passed in Delaware, but they were trying to get that the A state. Increasing arrests with young adults. This is a huge issue, obviously, but it's true. Since 1965, 30.2% increase in arrests, and this is only going up to 2012. I know on the media and the news they're always talking about how arrests are, well, not arrests, but crime is down and that, the country's in a much better, safer place. Well, I mean, we all know why, presidents and, uh, you know, people are saying that in politics because they want their campaign to sound more, they want to sound more qualified themselves, that they're doing a really good job. But I mean, the facts and statistics show that young adults are being charged with more crimes and arrested and convicted. It's increasing more and more, and it's making prisons and jails overpopulated. It's obvious. You can see it happening in front of us. And it's just going to be a more common thing. People with charges. That's why I bring this up, because there's going to be more young adults that are coming out of college and that are coming out of high school, and they're going to have criminal records. And they're going to be discriminated against, and it's going to be horrible, and it's going to keep increasing and increasing at this, if we keep going at this rate, obviously. And there's going to be more people that are going to be overqualified, but they have a criminal record, so then they all of a sudden become underqualified. Racism goes hand in hand with the discrimination aspect. So I got two graphs here. Here on the left is current employment not with criminal records. So obviously you can see the race. There's already racism involved with the Hispanic and black, and then the other. You can see white obviously is the highest one because I mean I'm not going to go into anything like crazy like that. We're talking mainly about the convictions and people with criminal records, but I think a lot of people kind of understand that there's a clear presence of racism in this country, and that goes hand in hand with getting a job and stuff like that. And but when you look on the right and you look at unemployment with criminal records involved, that is a drastic difference from black is in blue and white is in orange. You see the 17%, and then you see the 34, and then you see 5% and 14. That's horrible. That's sad. It's unethical. It is racist. Black people that go to jail and get charges and try to get a job and they can't, and then white people go to jail and they get charges and they try to get a job when they come out, and it's shown here statistically that they're getting more jobs than other, skin colored people. So that goes hand in hand with racism, and people with criminal records. Job experience in jail and examples. So there's a man named Dave Dale, and he invented a bread called Dave's Killer Bread. Well, he co-founded it. And where did he invent the recipe and create the bread? When he was in prison. I believe he was convicted on a couple of charges for drugs. It was felonies, and he was in jail for, I think, five years, but they sentenced him to 7, but they gave him 5. And he learned how to cook in jail, and he invented this recipe with what he had to cook, and he invented this product, and he co-founded it. And obviously he had a little bit of help with people with money getting him started, but he created this thing. He created the recipe, and it's in Walmart, it's in Whole Foods, it's on Amazon, it's everywhere. It's one of the most popular whole grain breads out there because it's so, popular with younger people that are trying to eat stuff that's, there's just like a lot of people that are trying to eat like really healthy foods, and this is something that's really popular right now. It's, millions of dollars have been made off of this. And it goes back to correctional institutions and work camps, road prisons, work release contract centers. You can see on the graph left. So there's something called work release contract centers. So this is basically people that are in jail or prison. They get confirmation from a judge to be able to be on work release, meaning they get transported out of the jail, or they work on the jail grounds outside of the fences, and they get an extra security clearance to be able to work. So a lot of people in jail and in prisons are actually working. People think, oh, the way jail works is it's for 2 years and under sentences, and prison is 2 years and over. That's at least how it works in West Virginia and Virginia. And most of the people are trying to work in jail because they don't want to sit there idle hands, because that's how people go crazy, is just sitting around doing nothing. So people work, they clean the floors, they cook, they do whatever, and they're getting experience. And it's, people are working in jail. So to say, like, an employer to see in a criminal record and say, oh, well, they're not, they were just sitting around for years not doing anything. No, they're getting job experience and they're learning stuff. You can get a GED in jail. You can get real estate license in jail. You can get there's a lot of opportunities for people to try to rehabilitate them. So what should employers do then? Well, that's the main question. It's like, okay, well, Andrew, you've told us that there needs to be reform. What are they going to do? I mean, you can't have a guy that robbed a bank go and work in a bank, right? That doesn't make any sense, and I understand that. But a couple bullet points we have here is employers need to pay more attention to whether the person was rehabilitated rather than just a criminal. And it goes hand in hand with my second point too, where it doesn't say on a criminal sheet whether the person learned their lesson, right? It just says, oh, felony, convicted of a felony, or convicted of misdemeanor, and it says time served, and that's it. They need to be able to ask the person, did you learn your lesson? If they really want to go to the extent to getting a psychologist to evaluate them to see if they are right for the job because they're qualified enough, then they should do that. And my last point is hiring ex-convicts gives employers a tax break. This is true because ex-convicts, when they're going to get a job, they're labeled as a target group from the IRS. So that means that they're a group of people that are more suppressed in the workforce. So if you hire them, you get a tax break because you're hiring people that are a part of a target group. So conclusion is not only unethical, but embarrassing to the person that is trying to get a job when being declined in an interview. It is not right to claim someone is underqualified just because of a criminal record, and younger adults increasing with criminal records, so change needs to happen. This is something that definitely needs to happen, and I'm going to read my 5 sources now. We have Schwartz, written January 22nd, 2013. This former felon started an organic bread business that's now worth $50 million. Retrieved August 2018 from fastcompany.com. That was from Dave Dale's Bread. Allison S.F. Shuck, exploring the crime of identity theft, prevalence, clearance rates, and victim offender characteristics, Journal of Criminal Justice. It's 2007. Austin J., written in 2017, Limits of Prison Education, Criminology, and Public Policy. We have Gaskew T., written in 2015, Developing a Prison Education Pedagogy, New Directions for Community Colleges. We have Gubermich L., written in 2017, Erasing the Mark of Cain, an empirical analysis of the effect of the Ban the Box legislation on the employment outcomes of people of color with criminal records. Then Selbin J. McRae and Epstein, written in 2017, Unmarked Criminal Records Clearing and Unemployment Outcomes, Journal of Criminal Law and Criminology. Thank you very much.